Carnation, Lily, Lily Rose, Part 2 by Kelly Link. Dear Matilda, Ivy, Alicia, I picture my letters sailing out to you over those waves with the teeth, little white boats. Dear reader, Beryl? Fern? You would like to know how I am so sure these letters are getting to you? I remember that it always used to annoy you, the way I took things for granted, but I'm sure you're reading this in the same way that even though I'm still walking around and breathing, when I remember to, I'm sure I'm dead. I think that these letters are getting to you, mangled, sodden, but still legible. If they arrived the regular way, you probably wouldn't believe they were from me anyway. I remembered a name today. Elvis Presley. He was the singer, right? Blue shoes, kissy fat lips, slickery voice. Dead, right? Like me. Marilyn Monroe, too. White dress blowing up like a sail. Gandhi, Abraham Lincoln, Lulie Bellows, remember? Who lived next door to me when we were both 11. She had migraine headaches all through the school year, which made her mean. Nobody liked her before, when we didn't know she was sick. We didn't like her after. She broke my nose because I pulled her wig off one day on a dare. They took a tumor out of her head that was the size of a chicken egg, but she died anyway. When I pulled the wig off, she didn't cry. She had brittle bits of hair tufting out of her scalp, and her face was swollen with fluid, like she'd been stung by bees. She looked so old. She told me that when she was dead she'd come back and haunt me, and after she died I pretended that I could see not just her, but whole clusters of fat, pale, hairless ghosts lingering behind trees, swollen and humming like hives. It was a scary fun game I played with my friends. We called the ghosts Lulies, and we made up rules that kept us safe from them. A certain kind of walk, a diet of white food, marshmallows, white bread rolled into pellets, and plain white rice. When we got tired of the Lulies, we killed them off by decorating her grave with the remains of the powdered doughnuts and Wonder Bread our suspicious mothers at last refused to buy for us. Are you decorating my grave, Felicity? Gay? Have you forgotten me yet? Have you gotten another cat yet, another lover? Or are you still mourning for me? God, I want you so much, Carnation, Lily, Lily Rose? It's the reverse of necrophilia, I suppose. The dead man who wants one last fuck with his wife. But you're not here. And if you were here, would you go to bed with me? I write you letters with my right hand, and I do the other thing with my left hand that I used to do with my left hand ever since I was 14, when I didn't have anything better to do. I seem to recall that when I was 14, there wasn't anything better to do. I think about you. I think about touching you, think that you're touching me, and I see you naked and you're glaring at me, and I'm about to shout out your name, and then I come and the name on my lips is the name of some dead person, or some totally made-up name. Does it bother you, Linda? Donna? Penthesilea? Do you want to know the worst thing? Just a minute ago, I was grinding into the pillow, bucking and pushing and pretending it was you, Stacy. Under me. Oh, fuck, it felt good. Just like when I was alive, and when I came I said, Beatrice! And I remembered coming to get you in the hospital, after the miscarriage. There were a lot of things I wanted to say. I mean, neither of us was really sure that we wanted a baby, and part of me sure was relieved that I wasn't going to have to learn how to be a father just yet. But there were still things that I wish I'd said to you. There were a lot of things I wish I'd said to you. You know who. The dead man sets out across the interior of the island. At some point, after his first expedition, the hotel moved quietly back to its original location. The dead man in his room. Looking into the mirror, expression intent, hips tilted against the cool tile. This flesh is dead. It should not rise. It rises. Now the hotel is back beside the mailbox, which is empty when he walks down to check it. The middle of the island is rocky, barren. There are no trees here, the dead man realizes, feeling relieved. He walks for a short distance, less than 2 miles, he calculates, before he stands on the opposite shore. In front of him is a flat expanse of water, sky folded down over the horizon. When the dead man turns around, he can see his hotel, looking forlorn and abandoned. But when he squints, the shadows on the back veranda waver, becoming a crowd of people, all looking back at him. He has his hands inside his pants. He is touching himself. He takes his hands out of his pants. He turns his back on the shadowy porch. He walks along the shore. He ducks down behind the sand dune, and then down a long hill. He is going to circle back. He is going to sneak up on the hotel if he can, although it is hard to sneak up on something that always seems to be trying to sneak up on you. He walks for a while, and what he finds is a ring of glassy stones far up on the beach, driftwood piled inside the ring, charred and black. The ground is trampled all around the fire, as if people had stood there waiting and pacing. There is something left in tatters and skin on a spit in the center of the campfire, about the size of a cat. The dead man doesn't look too closely at it. He walks around the fire. He sees tracks indicating where the people who stood here, watching the cat roast, went away again. It would be hard to miss the direction they were taking. The people leave together, rushing untidily up the dune, barefoot and heavy, the imprints of the balls of the foot deep, heels hardly touching the sand at all. They are headed back towards the hotel. He follows the footprints, sees the single track of his own footprints coming down to the fire. Above, in a line parallel to his expedition and to the sea, the crowd has walked this way, although he did not see them. They were walking more carefully now. He pictures them walking more quietly. His footprints end. There is the mailbox, and this is where he left the hotel. The hotel itself has left no mark. The other footprints continue towards the hotel, where it stands now, small in the distance. When the dead man gets back to the hotel, the lobby floor is dusted with sand and the television is on. The reception is slightly improved, but no one is there, although he searches every room. When he stands on the back veranda, staring out over the interior of the island, he imagines he sees a group of people down beside the far shore, waving at him. The sky begins to fall. Dear Araminta, Kiki, Lolita? Still doesn't have the right ring to it, does it? Suki, Ludmilla, Winifred? I had that same not dream about the faculty party again. She was there, only this time you were the one who recognized her, and I was trying to guess her name, who she was. Was she the tall blonde with the nice ass, or the short blonde with the short hair, who kept her mouth a little open like she was smiling all the time? That one looked like she knew something I wanted to know. But so did you. Isn't that funny? I never told you who she was, and now I can't remember. You probably knew the whole time anyway, even if you didn't think you did. I'm pretty sure you asked me about that little blonde girl when you were asking. I keep thinking about the way you looked that first night we slept together. I'd kissed you properly on the doorstep of your mother's house, and then, before you went inside, you turned around and looked at me. No one had ever looked at me like that. You didn't need to say anything at all. I waited until your mother turned off all the lights downstairs, and then I climbed over the fence and up the tree in your backyard and into your window. You were leaning out of the window, watching me climb, and you took off your shirt so that I could see your breasts. I almost fell out of the tree. And then you took off your jeans, and your underwear had a day of the week embroidered on it. Holiday? And then you took off your underwear, too. You'd bleached the hair on your head yellow and then streaked it with red, but the hair on your pubis was black and soft when I touched it. We lay down on your bed, and when I was inside you, you gave me that look again. It wasn't a frown, but it was almost a frown, as if you had expected something different, or else you were trying to get something just right. And then you smiled, and sighed, and twisted under me. You lifted up smoothly and strongly as if you were going to levitate right off the bed, and I lifted with you, as if you were carrying me, and I almost got you pregnant for the first time. We never were good about birth control, were we, Eliane? Rosemary? And then I heard your mother out in the backyard right under the elm I'd just climbed, yelling, "Tree! Tree!" I thought she must have seen me climb it. I looked out the window and saw her directly beneath me, and she had her hands on her hips, and the first thing I noticed were her breasts, moonlit and plump, pushed up under her dressing gown, fuller than yours and almost as nice. That was pretty strange, realizing that I was the kind of guy who could have fallen in love with someone after not so much time, really, truly, deeply in love, the forever kind I already knew, and still notice this middle-aged woman's tits, your mother's tits. That was the second thing I learned. The third thing was that she wasn't looking back at me. "Tree!" she yelled, one last time, sounding pretty pissed. So, okay, I thought she was crazy. The last thing, the thing I didn't learn, was about names. It's taken me a while to figure that out. I'm still not sure what I didn't learn. Aina? Jewel? Kathleen? But at least I'm willing. I mean, I'm still here, aren't I? Wish you were here. You know who. At some point later, the dead man goes down to the mailbox. The water is particularly unwater-like today. It has a velvety nap to it, like hair. It raises up in almost discernible shapes, and it is still afraid of him, but it hates him, hates him, hates him. It never liked him, never. "Fraidy cat, the dead man taunts the water. When he goes back to the hotel, the Lulies are there. They are watching television in the lobby. They are a lot bigger than he remembers.